So thank you all for joining. My name's Becky. I'm from KCS Procurement Services, and today we are hosting a collaborative webinar with SCC, who are one of our awarded suppliers on the Multifunctional Devices and Digital Solutions framework. So to kick off, just give you a bit of insight into the framework itself. The Multifunctional Devices and Digital Framework are one of our frameworks approved by the DfE. So in having this approval, it's an indication that there's both value there, but also how easy our frameworks are to use by the public sector body. KCS Procurement Services is part of a bigger group, the Commercial Services Group, and we are wholly owned by Kent County Council. So our vision is to become to be recognised as the global leader in education and public sector with procurement and support services. So from our part of the division, we do this by delivering our frameworks essentially. We have 12 framework categories, and these offer procurement routes to market for a wide range of services and products, and they are specifically tailored for the public sector. The framework that we're talking about today, so the Multifunctional Devices framework, sits in the Office category. But if anyone has any questions around any of these other frameworks, then obviously please contact us at the end and we can go into detail about the other ones. So this framework is split into two lots. Lot 1 looks at the A4 and A3 multifunctional devices, they're just your photocopiers, printers, high volume print room devices and wide format printers, and they all are run on a cost per copy printing basis as well. So that provides all of your consumables. The brands that we have on both lots are Toshiba, Kaizera, Ricoh, HP, Canon and Sharp, and then on lot 2 in addition we also have DMS. So lot 2 is around the digital transformation element. So that is not only the hardware, but it's software as well. It's bigger AV solutions. It's around cloud storage. The solution that SCC are talking to you about today will be covered under lot 2. So the benefits of using the framework are that the terms and conditions are created to keep you protected. The benchmarking has already been completed, and the buying power of the framework means that it provides you with a cost-effective solution, and that's both with time and money. You will also have a dedicated account specialist, and they're there to support you. So that's covering every possible need that you would need. So just to give you an insight into what the account specialists do for you. So they'll go out and get you multiple quotes. So it saves you time having to go to other awarded suppliers on the framework. We'll do it all for you. They support you in resolving any of the queries that you might come across. And they also offer you guidance when it comes to engineer response times, the device uptime, ordering consumables, basically every part of the process from start to finish, they'll be able to help you with. They also do regular check-ins just to make sure that everything's okay. And you will have a direct contact for your account specialist. So you won't be going through any main lines, generic inboxes. You'll have someone that you can talk to straight away. And this just means that it makes using the frameworks and the service and the support and things that you have throughout easy. We do everything for you. So, as I mentioned, SCC are awarded on the framework, and I am delighted to be joined by Rob from SCC and John from Xeros, and they're going to talk to you about a Zero Trust cloud printing solution. Rob or John? Who's kicking off?
It's on mute.
Technology.
Yeah, it's just on the next slide.
And now it's me. Good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining. So Today, I'm going to be speaking to you about Syros. Syros is a new name on the block, as you could say. Syros itself, we was born in 2018, where we looked after on-premise solutions, and we have got a raft of different customers from NHS to local gov to central gov and things like that. However, since COVID, the market has changed. The way that we use print, the way that we use devices has also changed. So some of the directives from the government was when procuring first, we've got a cloud approach now. The cloud's always been there. However, it's quite frightening to think of what was a difficult approach when you first did your follow me print. How are you going to move that into a cloud, something that's not really controlled by you guys? The other target of spending £1 in every £3 with SMEs, keeping our money in the local environments, keeping it within the UK. And the main one being the government policy of reaching the net zero by 2050. Well, we've all got our own parts to play, but what we can do within the printing environment is we can reduce the spend and the environmental impact with the shared service strategy. We are proud to be providers to the Partner Print Federation and to GovPrint. But what I'll do is I'll come on to that a little bit more later on in the slides. So, cloud. Everyone's talking about cloud, but how do we move from that journey from on-premise solutions to a full cloud solution? At the moment, a lot of the competition out there are all on-prem. If you want to go to cloud, it's a total separate solution for cloud-based printing. We're quite unique in the market that we can go from on-premise to edge-based or to cloud or vice versa with zero change to the end users. That's also zero change to the IT. So what we're about is simplifying print, making it easy, not only just for the user, but easy to maintain going forward. So from anything from an on-premise to a cloud solution, the look, the feel is exactly the same. There is no change whatsoever. From usability, we can have users from multiple identity sources. So you'll see in the on the pictures, we've got Okta, we've got Google, we've got Azure Active Directory. We've got our own identity service, so we can pretty much join customers in, join users in from anything, whether that be from a simplified user being just a username and login, or whether it be your domain credentials with Azure AD. So we're not just follow me print. What we're about is making things simple. So you don't need any print servers, you don't need any infrastructure for the solution that we've done. It's a single print driver. So whether you're sending it to a large MFD, whether you're sending it to a small printer, whether you're sending it to a small legacy printer that could be Brothers or HP's that's been sat at the side of a desk for however many years. We're not interested on what the end point is. We're just bothered about making it so it's nice and simple for that end user that they can go forward and continue with their job. We're a SaaS-based solution. So with that, you can procure it on a month-by-month basis. So if you no longer need it, you can cancel it. So very much like your phone contracts and such like that. We work in zero trust environments. So effectively, all we need is the internet. So the internet from the MFD, the internet from the user, and it can work. So if you're going to mobile sites or you're going to shared sites, you can just drop in. As long as there's internet connectivity on that endpoint, then your users can work. Everything that we do is about reducing time. We all go on about the saving of money, but time is also very important. So what do we do for internal IT to make things easier? So as I said, there's no infrastructure. All they need is the internet. So it's nice, straightforward. And literally when you're looking at installing on sites, you 5 minutes per MFD, and that's it, you're up and running. We've got clouds in AWS, so all the big names really, AWS, Google Cloud, we've got it in Microsoft Azure. One thing to note though, all of our clouds are UK based. Operating systems, we've got Microsoft, we've got the Apples, we've got the Androids and the Citrix. So it runs across all of the spectrum of users on what they're using or how they want to use it. So as we were saying, it's any device. So any device, any MFD that we support, whether that be Canon, Ricoh, or HP or Xerox, it'll have the same look and feel. The user will file and print. They can go to any of those device types. So they're getting true cross-print functionality on any device. We support all network single function printers. We support all USB printers. Anything that can print really, that's tied down to the Windows, we can support, namely down to the Zebra printer. So when we're looking in the NHS and things like that, blood label printing, wristband printing is also done from ourselves. When we're looking in education and such like, we've got guest, we've got unknown, and we've got paid printing. And we've also, as part of ours, because another area of what we look at, it's okay looking after the small devices, the medium devices, but what about the devices and the volume that should be going somewhere else? So we've also got web to print built in, so the large volumes can go to the correct size machines. So what does it look like? How does it work for the end user? So the end user, they file and print. Once they file and printed, they will get a login information on. The first time that they use it, they'll log in with either their email or their normal username, depending on what it is that we've set them up to. They'll log in with that credentials, they'll pop the password in, and then all of a sudden they're registered for the system. Our single print driver looks nice and graphical. So you can see you get a thumbnail of the print job. You can change between auto and mono, duplex and such like. One thing that we are quite unique in is that we get all finishing options on the endpoint device. So whether it's got staple, whether it's got hole punching, we can also do full tray select as well. So whether the machine's got 3 trays, 4 trays and vice versa. One of the nice things that we've just recently added onto this ticket is a nag message, and this was requested by a customer. So if someone's changing from mono to color, you'll get a pop-up on that screen that will actually give a live calculation on what the cost difference is between the mono and the color. Then the user has to accept that change. All of these things can be defaulted as you would expect. On the right hand side of this ticket, you'll notice I've got print to office, print to cloud and direct print. The print to office is when we're edge-based printing, so the print job itself will never leave your network. Print to cloud is what GovPrint uses, so the central government, and direct print is for any localized devices. Here's some of the home screens. So if we look on the top left-hand side, there's Xerox machines running across GovPrint. You've got Notts County Council, they're running Ricoh machines. Derbyshire County Council are running Canon machines. So it just shows that we've got a plethora of different device types that work on different machines, and you can see they're all exactly the same. So networked USB printers, because yes, we talk about MFDs are always the best, but an MFD can be for follow me print, but an MFD can also be for direct print. So are we looking at the security of the user having to authenticate, or are we looking at the system being secure for that direct print output? So what we've built within our ticket is that a user can direct print. It will find their local USB printer. So it can offer that as an option. If there's multiple printers around, we can actually go that back down to room-based printing. So we can actually itemize and show them what are their local printers that they are allowed to print to. All of this is customizable. All of it is defaulted. And if that user moves and their IP address changes, we'll automatically re-show what current printers there is available for their direct print. So we can work securely in not only follow me print, but we can also work securely with network and USB print. Public and the guest print. So how can we send jobs in that people aren't registered to your system, people aren't part of your network? A user can, if they've got the option within libraries, so where you've got net loan devices, they can file and print. If they've not got known devices, they can email to print, or they can upload to print. The main thing that they will get is they'll get this simple ticket, and you'll notice on the bottom right of this ticket now, you've got something called a job code. The job code is their unique code for that particular print job. So when we're doing the print job, they can either go to a machine if they're open vendor, and they can pop that print job directly in, or they can tell a member of staff what their print job is, and a member of staff can log into their device under their account and retrieve that job code for them. Payment. So as we were saying, the job code's the important bit. Regardless of what device that you go to, if we've got public mode enabled, you can print, copy and scan for public and corporate users. There is no need to have multiple devices for multiple people. So a public user can click on the screen and they'll see on the top left, they'll get print, copy and scan. There's also a QR mark in case they want to upload their jobs directly at that device. If they hit the print release code will come up, they enter in the details that they've got, they will then get the cost show to them and it'll ask for payment. Everything that we do is based on micro payments. For the micro payments, we don't use any charged accounts. We don't use any kind of balances or things like that. We just use standard pay for what you use. So a user, that job was 57 pence. They'll walk up to the NIX terminal, which you can see on the right hand side. Just to add, NIX is the global lead on micropayments. They'll walk it up. The machine will actually say on the front screen that they owe 57 pence. They can pay with anything. So whether they're using the phones, whether they're using the credit cards, or whatever they've got, they can pay. Once paid, that print job will be retrieved. Once paid, the copy job will be functioned. Once paid, the scan will actually ask for an email to send it on. So it's nice and simple. We've also got the facility so members of staff can override over these costs. So if there's a paper jam, let's say, then how can we get them out? The member of the public's not happy with something, how can we redo that job for? So we've tried to deal with all eventualities of how we can look after follow me print, direct print, public or guest print. We support all of the Androids, all of the Apples. It really is simple. So what do we do? We've spoke firstly on the first slide about shared services, about saving not only money, but saving the carbon footprint. The device, you look at the customers on the right hand side, all of those customers can print, copy and scan within each other's environment. So Notts County Council can go to Derby City Council, because if we look at it geographically, a council for Notts County Council might have members of staff that live in Derbyshire. So why does that member of staff have to go all the way to Nottinghamshire to be able to do their print, copy and scan? You might find that you've got some of the staff from Nottinghamshire that live in Derbyshire want to just visit one of their public libraries and do their print, copy and scan. We can facilitate all of that securely without any IT involvement. So we can really start to share the service and collaborate and get the best value out of the equipment that you've got. The ones on the left-hand side, so your zero trusts, you've got real big names there within the NHS. You've got housing associations, different councils. We specialise in the public sector. We not only specialise in the public sector as supplying software, which we're used to working with you guys and supporting you guys. With software, as everybody knows, you can't hide away from it. So everything's got to work as it should from day one.
Thanks, John. I'm Rob Richardson. I'm an account manager here at SCC, and I've just got a couple of software packages to run through, which are value add. So the first one is our intelligence software. It's actually built in-house. It's totally configurable to suit our customers. It provides real-time data for proof of deliveries for toner deliveries. And then it has GPS tracking built in for engineers, so you can see whereabouts the engineer is and when he's going to turn up. It has automatic toner replenishment built in, automatic meter reading reporting, and also fault reporting. And as it's designed in-house, we can just tailor that to suit whatever you need. This is a new software application that comes on HP devices. It's got a small £75 software activation fee, but it uses a special calculator. It's called a Sierra tool, and it works out carbon emissions based on paper, energy consumption, engineer travel, and then at the end we actually offset 100% of greenhouse gas emissions. And it's also certified to ISO 14040 and 14044 standards. This is just a little bit about us in document services. We've been running for over 20 years. We've got 400 customers. And then in Birmingham, we actually have a digital transformation centre that specialises in scanning and archiving, hybrid mail, digital mail, and it also has an off-site production centre, so it can be used as like a backup if you know, the network goes down. These are my contact details. Please feel free to reach out if you want us to actually visit site, or you would prefer to have like a personal session. You know, we're happy to sort of oblige to whatever you need.
Perfect. So thanks, Rob and John, for that really insightful information on the solution. So we're going to shortly open up the platform to questions, but just to confirm, if you would like more information on the frameworks, how to access them, any questions regarding any of our frameworks, including this one, please feel free to get in contact using the information. Sorry, could you go back a slide? The information on this slide. So that's for the procurement services element. So if you have any questions around the solution that has been discussed, you can contact us, you can contact Rob, and we can go through those questions with you. So, sorry, John.
I've noticed one from John.
Yes, so we have got a few pre-requested questions, but we can start with the ones that are in the chat box, if you wanted to start with those. So the first question is, when the user has logged in, will or can that pull the cost centre from AD as opposed to relying on the user entering their BU code?
Certainly. So we can pull from any source really when they log in. So that's fixed cost centres for that user, not the showing of all cost centres for that tenant.
Perfect. And just to confirm, the session has been recorded and it can be just distributed. So if anyone does want a copy to look back on later, let us know and then we can send that over to you. So I'll let the chat box go for the minute. I'll move on to the pre-requested questions. But if anyone does have any questions, please feel free just to type them into the chat box and then we can go through those. Just some of the pre-requested questions. What levels of security are the documents at?
Okay, so that's a nice and easy one. I'll keep it quite simple on here, but I've got the white papers and all the pen tests and everything to send if you require them. Everything that we do is on TLS 1.3. All print jobs are 256-bit encrypted. Effectively the password, the padlock and the key are in separate entities, so they're in separate places, so it can never be broken into. We use HMAC signing to ensure that all the messages are not tampered with. So everything within our solution is fully secure. Just further to add as well, Syros, we're ISO 27001. We're also 27018. 27018 is the code of practice for protection of personal identifiable information, if I spit my teeth out. And the 27018 as well.
Perfect. The next question was, can the solution work on existing machines?
Yes, the solution can. So we can look at like the walk-in takeovers where you've got some old Canon machines and such like, which we do all the time now. So on the Canon range of machines, it's more the MEEP embedded type of ones. We've got HP, anything that's WorkPath compatible. And with the Ricoh, it's anything on the SOC panels. So whether it be of a different supplier or whatever, you can move on to the solution and you can keep that journey going forward.
Perfect. And do you export scan to OneDrive or Google Drive?
Standard. So the OneDrive is as a standard, the Google Drive's a standard. We've got other ones as well. So the setup of that is if you've got OneDrive associated to your account, the first time that a user tries to scan back to OneDrive, it will ask them to log into OneDrive. We'll then capture an OAuth token, and that's it going forward. OneDrive is set up for them.
And then the last one in the pre-requested around the solution itself is what is included within SaaS?
So in the SaaS solution, so software as a service, effectively everything. There's no upgrade costs, there's no change request costs, there's nothing. So for the price that you pay per month on the MFD, if you're looking at upgrades are performed automatically. So we have updates on the client side, we have updates on the MFD. The main thing that we built Syros around is the fact that you can keep moving with technology. There's that many sites now that we see within the UK that have procured and managed print 5, 7, 10 years ago that are still on the same version of what they procured, because everything's always so complicated, or it's got a user impact to change, to progress, to get all of the new standards. Within our solution, everything is there. We've built it so it does silent installs, silent updates. From the MFD side of things, we rely on what is the manufacturer's type of updates, but everything is included.
Perfect. So the next few questions are more on the framework. So I'll answer those and then we can jump back into the chat box. So first one I have is, do we have to get multiple quotes or do a further comp? So that really falls down to the individual establishment and your own processes. So using the frameworks themselves means that you're fully compliant. There are routes to direct award, but if you did need multiple quotes for your own internal process as well, it is something that my team can help with. So we can run through the specification and we can get you those quotes to ensure that you're following your own processes. But yes, definitely something that we can help with. What is the cost of using or accessing the framework? So there is no upfront cost for using the framework or accessing it. All quotes and things are free. So there isn't like a subscription or a fixed length that you have to use the framework for. It is just a case of if you have a requirement and you wanted to use the framework to get quotes and things, we can support you with that. And then if you go ahead with the quotes, then you would be paying the agreed cost within the solution, which is just standard. Are we signing up to a contract in accessing the framework? So the only contract you will sign up to is the contract for the solution or the hardware or anything that you're going ahead with. From the point of asking for quotes and things on the framework, there isn't a minimum term that you're signing up to. You're not signing a contract for accessing it in the first instance. It's only if you decide to go ahead with a solution, and then you'll sign up to maybe a 3, 4, 5 year lease, but that's dependent on what you want from the solution. So most frameworks run for about 4 years. If you signed up to a 3-year agreement to implement a solution, you wouldn't have to use the framework for that further year. You're only using it for the solution that you signed up to. You're not tied into a contract just by asking to use the framework, asking for quotes, asking for support in that process. Right, should we jump back to the chat box? I've seen a few popping in. There were 2 value add tools. £75 for a carbon tool. Is there a cost for the other dashboard? Rob, that's going to be a you question.
Yeah, that's me. No, the intelligence dashboard's free, and we bundle that in. So, and the configuration and stuff on there is free as well. So it's a really useful software tool.
And then, do you do offsite print and post solutions, e.g., rent arrears statements?
Yeah, we do. Basically, one of the benefits as well with dealing with us is it's like a pay-as-you-go type contract. So we could actually set up a pilot, demonstrate that we can do the work, and then the customer just pays. It's like a pay-as-you-go basis. But yeah, we do a lot of that for different customers, whether it be sort of letters or statements or anything like that. We'll have a digital transformation hub in Birmingham that produces all of that. Plus, they get special postal rates as well, because we send out so much post and we're dealing with so much transactions. We can get a cheaper rate that we can pass on to the customer.
Perfect. And then there's a question: what fees does the lot provider pay the framework provider? Oh, I'm going to be honest, that's going to be a framework manager question, but what I'm going to do is take note of it, and then I will get back to you with the answer that they give me. But I'll definitely find out for you and come back to you. Perfect. Any other questions? Okay. So it looks like the chat box has gone quiet for questions. So we will wrap it up, but obviously there are contact details on the slides if you did want to, if you think of a question later and you wanted to ask either myself, John, Rob, then feel free to get in contact. But thank you all for your time today, and thanks to Rob and John for providing us with that information, and we will see you soon.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thanks a lot.
See
you later.
you.
Bye.
Bye.